Alright, so Juan Carlos Zuluaga here, going to be doing a book review on Luis Arias' The Devil's Highway. And it's about the American-U.S. border and all the issues going on how these human trafficking and not only human trafficking, but just all these issues going on the border, but mainly about the story of the 26 men that were brought over by a coyote. And one of the quotes in the book actually caught my eye, and just very appealing to me because I put myself in their shoes, and the way that Luis Arias uses his imagery and just dictionaries, it got me to. So here it goes. Your muscles, lacking water, feed on themselves. They break down and start to rot. Once rotting in you, they dump rafts of dying cells into your already sludgy bloodstream. Proteins are peeling off your dying muscles. Chunks of cooked meat are falling out of your organs to clog your other organs. The system closes down in a series. Your kidneys, your bladder, your heart. They jam shut, stop. Your brain sparks out. You're gone. And just a little bit about Luis Arias. So he was he mostly writes books talking and speaking about the immigration and its issues. And he himself was born in Tijuana, Mexico. Only later he moved to San Diego as a child, and after years of hard work and dedication, he became the first out of his whole entire family of 10 to attend and graduate college. Since then, he became a very successful author and has written 14 books. And mainly out of those 14 books, they were all about immigration or the Mexican border to the U.S. border, and hopes to continue his pattern of success in these books. So we'll probably see upcoming books of Luis Arias. So what is this Devil's Highway about? So El Camino del Diablo in Spanish it is, and the name itself is pretty arousing, and it should cause like a terrifying, discomforting feeling, and it obviously should. And over the last 1,000 years, these lethal treks has earned its name with sky-high temperatures, waterless regions, and a very high death toll. It comes from early beginnings as a Native American trail, but earned its fame with the Spanish in 1514. During his march from Mexico to the legendary cities of gold, conquistador Francisco Vasquez led a small expedition forced to seek out a river that connected to the north. And then they all of the guys, they did return from the expedition, but they the massive suffering that they went through on their journey, it led the soldiers to name the path the Devil's Highway. And then over a century later, a Giuseppe Priest retraced the route, and this time he mapped the water sources, and punching through the Pacific, unknowingly Kino paved the way for over 300 years of more travelers, including immigrants, gold seekers, smugglers, and so on, to take at their own risk for many years to come. And then this the Devil's Highway, or El Camino del Diablo, crosses some of the most striking and remote Sonoran deserts in the U.S. However, though, it also runs along the Mexican border, neighboring active bombing ranges all across the border, and the land is so rugged and dry that it has claimed up to 2,000 lives in record, and counting, obviously, from dehydration itself. And that doesn't stop to think about the other hazards, all the animals, all the smugglers, kidnappers, everything there, and the list goes on. And because of these hazards, your trip won't start on the dirt, but in a government office, where you'll have a listing of warnings and paperwork showing numerous ways to meet one's unfortunate expiration, or quote-unquote death. But the big idea is that if you break down or die of thirst, or if you get killed by smugglers, bitten by snakes, crushed in the mines, shot, or blown up by a bomb, it's not the government's fault because you were warned, so it would be your fault. And I printed out a picture here just so you can get an idea of what it looks like. I don't know if you can see the sign there, but it says travel caution, smuggling and illegal immigration may be encountered in this area. So now that we know what the Devil's Highway is, let's get a little bit into the story about these 26 men who met up in the state of Veracruz, which is in Mexico, obviously, and they traveled on a bus to a specific town area to begin their journey up north. And then after paying Don Garcia, the head of the business, he was the main guy, he wasn't the middleman but the main one, they depart and began in the rugged terrains. The author describes haunting legends and the stories of the Devil's Highway and tells of the Border Patrol's doings. The men encountered a sign in which the name states it all, El Camino del Diablo, but they are determined to turn back. And then in the beginning of the story is the point of view of a Border Patrol agent stationed in the region of South Arizona. It describes the type of incidents they've had to encounter because of the deserts in this particular area. It is very appealing and gruesome conditions that they go around. And the agents have recorded numerous, and when I say numerous, it's countless dead bodies of Mexican runaways left in these deserts to die. And most of the bodies were of men, but a few of them were women, along with children that they took with them on their journey. And the bodies are described to be burned nearly black from brutal sun, shrunken into a fetal position, and rid of all liquids once present. The names of all agents are workers that the station are listed in the particular section of the book, and Luis Arrea provides that. And this is obviously all based on a true story, and the book describes true and detailed, horrifying experiences that these 26 men went through in an attempt to get to California illegally for each of their individual needs, which is mainly to work. And just imagine, these guys wanted to come here and get a better life, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. And in this case, it was because of these greedy coyotes who knew better, but they just wanted cash, and because of that, they left 26 men dead. And on this highway, they had to pass through the desert of southern Arizona, and that area is what is known as the Devil's Highway, for it is indeed a desolate and ominous place. All the men that were included in the operation were lured in and lied to by the Mexican drug smugglers in order to seize their money, and most of them having nothing to do with that such a illegality. They died vainly in this story and how it happened. In the middle of the books, the author goes further into detail of each of the characters' personal lives. He explained the reasons for being on the expedition, and even involves the detailed lives of the smugglers. And then he writes about the past history of the smugglers' business and why they do it. The character especially talked about it is Santos, because he is the most notorious for his business and the way he approaches everyone else. And the antagonist here is basically nature versus man, because this desert plays a harsh game with the characters. They are faced upon with overwhelming heat, dehydration, hallucination, you name it. And at that point, most of them did die, and because they were left behind. And then after suffering for so many days and losing almost all hope, the remainder of the men that were left collapsed and finally surrendered all nature's will. Within hours to the Border Patrol seized them, and then they took them to the station for medical attention. And then they were inspecting them, but because the men had endured bizarre visions, feelings, and extreme heat, they had no clothes from when they started. and they like basically tore them off their body, and they had no proper identification, and nobody knew who they were. So the agents waited until the men were well enough to speak their names. Mike F. is the agent that discovered them. And after the surviving men were questioned, they were first interviewed by many journalists and reporters. People were fascinated that they could survive in this desert for so long without dying. And then this is how the book was particularly created. And then after telling their memories and experiences, they returned home where they belong and savored. 14 of the 26 men survived. It is known who will live today for this tragedy place and back in May of 2001. Thank you.